Ia, te whaatalofa atu ro sunga le te malanga, whaftai le li o whaasopo melo tō soifua, le lātou le ea, le lātou le ala, le lātou le vasa, i lo tō waa lo tau me ngā tai. Ia, mā loro soifua fulau, mā loro soifua moa. Mole tala ngang whaftai, i lo talia leo se whaatalo latu, mo se awanoa e whaatalonoa i lo fionga, e winga i tāmili sanga whaawā mālo i le whaonga tama o le neki polu. Ia leo whapeo man mālo mei Samoa. Ia mālo lava, mālo le whae ea. Ioe, ali i a matas tā tarangonga nā mata upu. Ia o te manatu lau teimi le whaiso so whamataranga. Ia pe so sonoanga i le tātou tunu.
Ua e momoana momole le whawhitai le atua. Fui le wamole le awango e kako kalango e mako malo i le Pacific Coast Series. So I wanted to say thank you to the Australian government and Netball Australia for putting on this Pacific Isles Series tournament where we can, as Pacific Islanders, showcase our talent in netball, as well to our president Justine Samu and our board, all our netball associations in Samoa and our supporters all over the world. Hopefully we can get some more content out to you.
Ia marolo so no, marolo tano lo fionga le te malanga. Ia te manatu la tau sa o ta whaafisili. Ia te manatu fo i la whaafale ta tarangonga, na ta whaima ta tarangoa i le nganga whaaperitania, whaafing whieria le fisili matali. Justine, no le se tama I trophy, ne trophy lo tough. It's not a small trophy. U whaafia ngengo u Samoa le trophy la.
This is our first time winning. It's the 5th series.
Yeah.
O le annual tournament of Australia. And this is the first time that Samoa have been able to bring the trophy home.
Not only is the first time that Samoa's been able to bring the trophy home, but also back-to-back wins.
Back-to-back wins, undefeated, every game, and every game we win, and knowing it was a hard game, we treated every game as it was a final. We wanted to win every game, and just malo lava to our team for having that support for each other.
How does it feel to win the Pacific Oz Sports Netball Series with an undefeated record, and what does this victory mean for Samoa netball?
I think we're all still processing it. It's surreal, the amount of work that has gone in behind the scenes, just to get our team there. You know, nobody needs to know that. Sometimes we feel like we're sitting ducks, the ducks floating nicely, but they don't see the feet under getting all that work. But what this now means for us is we're in contention for the Commonwealth Games to qualify. We came in ranked 18th in the world, but we've beat Fiji, who are ranked 14th, Scotland ranked 10th, and Tonga ranked 8th. So that means our ranking, which will be released 1st of March, will definitely improve, and we need to get to the top 12 to be invited to the Commonwealth Games, which are next year. But this also means re-engagement with our Samoan community, re-engagement for some of our players who have decided to leave, and trying to get them to come back and represent Samoa.
Did you feel like going into this series, this competition, did you have the right squad, the right team?
We went in, I believe we went in quietly confident that we had a strong team, but in saying that, it's a strong team on paper. It's another thing to have, some great names on there, but to bring them together and see how they work together, we only had 3 days.
Yep.
Effectively, we had 3 days to do that. So whilst we were confident, we still knew that there was a lot of work to do.
I didn't see any injuries. Well, we didn't see it from our point, but were there injuries that that made you kind of concerned that the performance of it?
No, because we had selected such a versatile team that we were able to cover. Normally when you have teams, you take a squad of 15 and 3 are training partners. This time we took a strong team of 14. All 14 could take the court. We did have a couple of injuries towards the end, but as I said, because we had strong players who were versatile, we were able to shift it around and continue to maintain that high level of performance that took us to that win.
What do you think were the key factors that contributed to the team's success throughout this tournament?
A big one would have to be the the new cultural environment that we were working towards building, the connections that we were making, and listening to our athletes, ensuring they felt supported. This was the first year I believe we took a well-being manager, and even just having that person there to allow our players to know if there is anything, whether it's netball related or not, that they had someone to speak to that, that wasn't part of, the Samoan community, so that they felt they were supported, because effectively we have our job to do, and our job is to be able to enable our athletes to perform, because that's their job. Their job is to perform and win the games for us. So it was really creating connections so that we were feeling like we were supporting each other, and just created a family environment.
The final against Scotland was a tough match. What was the game plan, and how did the team manage to secure the win? But before you answer that question, what teams did you feel like it would be a difficult game?
We knew Tonga would always be a difficult game, because not only has Tonga won it 4 years in a row, but that rivalry that we've always had. But it's a good competitive rivalry. Tonga always have a great crowd out there. But every game we went in knowing it was going to be a hard game. Fiji was ranked on top of us. They had players that have been playing together for a while. Even PNG, and even though you might look at the score and think, oh, but you won by this much, every game was hard. Yeah. And you don't really look at the score. Every game was hard, and our players fought to the end. But Scotland were a very fit team.
Mm. And given that Scotland was the final team that you guys played against, how was the mental preparation there?
Well, we really focused on just ourselves, and that was the message that we gave to our girls. Focus on our own game. Focus on what what are your positive attributes? What are your abilities? And don't worry too much about, that player that the goal shoot for Scotland, because she's super tall. Yeah. But okay, well, what can we do? What are we good at? How will we do this? So it was really about creating that more positive approach to put a game plan in place that we knew we could execute.
Coach Natalie Matthews highlighted the importance of squad depth. How did rotating all 14 players impact the team's performance?
We're really lucky to have a strong set of 14 players, and I think it was the versatility of their skill set which it allowed for these different combinations, and that meant we could effectively change our game structure whilst maintaining that high level of performance, and it forced the opposition to have to readapt. And you could see when we would make changes on court, there were 5 different rotations happening at the same time. We would only do the one if we could see it was because the player was tired. But when we did changes, we went for, 5, 6 different changes happening. Yep. And we knew that would really confuse our opposition. Now they had to change how they were playing, whereas our girls had already adapted. They had already known how the different players play. We had 2 shooters who were both holding shooters, but both play very differently. So when we can see the team is adapting to the opposition, we change it up, keep them guessing. And that's what that squad depth allowed us to do, to have these different combinations that, again, it was how we executed all our wins.
It was like keeping them on the back foot.
Yeah, always keeping them on the back foot, and also trusting the ability of the girls on court. And that's one thing I really loved about our new coach, Natalie. She trusted the players. If they made a mistake, she wasn't pulling them off. She told them, sort it out. You sort it out on court, you talk to each other. She gave them that opportunity. Another thing that really resonated with me, how she spoke to them about dumping it. You do a mistake, you dump it. And sometimes it might require a physical action so that it leaves you mentally. She said for her, because she was a previous athlete and rep for Samoa, she would wipe the court. She'd done a mistake. She'd been down and wipe the court, and that was her dumping it. After she spoke about that, the next game I saw a couple of players do that, and it did. It's funny how mentally you don't realize how much a small mistake can play on an athlete, but I saw some of our girls adapt to that, and just each game we were really improving.
And that's where the mental well-being checks in, right?
Definitely. You have to look after your players off court and look after them mentally, because it needs to be a holistic approach.
I see that a lot of the girls before Lingame, they play overseas. So, from Talanoa, can you talk about more about the team, like where they came from? And I noticed that, did we have one of the tallest players in the comp or no?
I'm not sure if we had one of the tallest. I know we have tall players, but I mean, I'm 5'8", and obviously I'm short compared to a lot of the players there, so they all look tall to me.
There's one photo where
is it our
wrong.
shooter?
Yeah.
With Toa. Yeah, I saw that. Toa is tall, but I know there are taller players.
Yeah.
Is she one of the tallest on our... She may be. But they were all... The PNG girls, though, are a smaller bunch, and
right.
And that's what I said, that you can't underestimate any team. And we went in and we can see how much shorter the PNG team are, but they are
Ruthless.
Agile.
Yeah.
They can jump. They can jump, they can move. So again, it's about we adapt our game to them, and sometimes they were underestimated, where you think they're not going to get a rebound, and these girls can jump.
Yeah. In a sense, that as a team Samoa, we're able to use all of our Samoan athletes. Doesn't matter which country they're from, whether they're from the homeland, the motherland, or whether they're from Australia or New Zealand. But I think the truth is that sometimes our athletes back home, they lack height. They also lack opportunities. And netball and games like basketball and softball and rugby as well, we're able to utilize these athletes. So the
phrase now we coined before we left, and I had put it to the team about, it's one Samoa. Everyone is Samoan. Whether you're from, Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Lototasi Mo Samoa is connecting us all, saying one heart for Samoa, but also we're everyone, connecting us all. And we did try to get that out, but I think it's something that will continue, because, like you said, it doesn't matter where you're from, where it's your pride in you for representing. And I can say that these players were all there for Samoa. Samoa was their first choice to represent.
Yeah, okay. Funding and more international matches are needed for Samoa to qualify for the Commonwealth Games. How can Samoa netball overcome these challenges, which seems to be not just Samoa netball, but also other sports in Samoa?
Yeah, like you said, it's all sports in Samoa, and I guess in Samoa some of the barriers are we're a small country. I think our population is about 200,000. So with all our sports, we're all trying to reach out to the same organizations. Sponsorship. We do need to create more partnerships, but we need to broaden that and look around outside of Samoa as well. So, this is an opportunity for, if we have any organizations in Samoa, outside of Samoa, who are looking to get with us to support us, we get in contact. We'd love to see how we can work, how we can collaborate to get our girls to just more competition and further development for our local players too, so that we can improve and increase our local participation.
Not just rugby. I mean, look, you guys have just won a competition, and it's a quite big competition as well. So just going on to what Justine was saying, if you're a business owner or an organization that has a lot of cash, throw some here.
Yes, please.
What was the most memorable moment for you during the tournament, both on and off the court?
I think off court on our, maybe on the second or third day we were there, we every day we would get together and have like a kind of team bonding, go through how we're feeling, but on one of our first days we had a connection piece where we all had to either bring something or talk to something that meant something to you. I think why that was memorable for me was it not only created a vulnerability, but you got to see players, everyone, it was players and management, but we got to see people for who they are, aside from why we were there. And it also showed me, why some of our athletes might play the way they do, or why they are, you perceive them actually as a person, not there as just an athlete to perform. I think creating those vulnerabilities connected us more and made us actually really want to support each other.
So you guys really embrace the diversity of each individual player to bring out the results?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was a big thing moving forward as to why we were successful, because we respected each other. We already respected each other, but it brought on another level of respect. There were players there that were missing their families, players there who we had some, their families had flown from, one player, her parents had flown from New Zealand, first time they'd flown in 30 years. So just knowing that and understanding that, our coach really listened to those things. Players missing their families back home, their children, realizing what they had given up to be here. And so ensuring that we listened to that and we fully supported them and let them, what do you need? Do you need time off? Just making sure we're listening to everyone.
Commonwealth 2026. How well placed are you guys?
Well, currently we're ranked 18th, but that ranking should change after the wins that we've had against Fiji, Tonga and Scotland, and also because we beat Scotland twice, so that's 2 wins over a team ranked 10th. And I think it's 1st of September, I believe, they'll announce the top 6 who are confirmed. And then we have until I think it's either the 31st of January, I believe, to get into the remaining, so that leaves 6 remaining spots. Right. So 1st of March, they'll announce our current ranking following these games, and then we'll know where we're placed, and it means we need to play teams who are ranked above us to try and get into that top 12 spot.
I le kulanga la lea I le World Cup mai si competitions maurulunga kua. Do you guys sometimes reach out to top Samoan players who play for Australia and New Zealand?
I know we have, but not as much as we could do. The other thing too is there is a lot of, as you know, it can affect their contracts. New Zealand have different laws with Australia, so it makes it harder for us to get a player from New Zealand. If they play a tournament for us, that effectively makes them an import player, and their club might have a process that says we can only have one import.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we had a player who was really keen and then she double checked with her club and it meant that she would become an import, even though she does live and play in New Zealand. So it does, I guess those are some of the barriers we face, but
se game ma sangi ngā koe ia kenge kua ia le New Zealand Silver Ferns Maria Tutaya or Bernice Mene to help with any clinics for netball?
No, but also we haven't done that engagement with them. I know Maria Tutaya was in Samoa maybe last year or the year before. We had heard, but we didn't reach out. And I think that's something, again, that we are working on and starting to engage with these players, previous players, to invite them. We have had some that have come across, but again, it depends on the relationship that we've had, and we just need to be a bit more forthcoming with reaching out to players and inviting them to come and assist, especially if we find out they're in Samoa. Because I know that when these players do come, I have heard that they've gone out to schools probably through their family connections. But as an association, we probably need to get better at that, at reaching out to these players and getting them to come and share.
KPOC codes. I mean, we just saw recently with Jayo Pataya. I think he was at Marisi, St. Joseph's, and also a lot of the rugby players who play in the Super Rugby Pacific competition. Every time they're home, they're either helping out a school or a club. But it'd be nice to see the same thing for netball. Well, that's pretty much it. I just want to say thank you so much, Justine, for making time today. I know that you fly out tomorrow with the team. I want to say thank you and also congratulations again. Any last words, or you want to give a shout out to someone? You can look directly at that camera.
No, I just want to say thank you again to Australian government and Netball Australia for this tournament where we can showcase our talents. I want to thank our president, Justine Samu, for putting her trust in us to put this team forward. And then especially to our families and our supporters all over Samoa, but who supported us to be able to leave for 10 days. I know I was having my daughter crying every day, so Pele, shout out to you. I'm coming home tomorrow. She's been counting down the sleeps. But yeah, to our supporters in Samoa and all over the world, we can't wait to bring you more.